could help them. Maybe they don't have access to an attorney. Then health insurance. There are people that come in the first time, they don't have job. If they have job, they
diaspora in the United States of America is emerging as one of the wealthiest, most affluent diaspora groups in North America, both in Nigeria and Canada. If there is that perception, if that's how people who make choices make those choices, they will deal differently. And this is a narrative that needs to emerge. If I just say, tonight from here, I'll be launching the report, State of the Motherland report from the new tribe. The new tribe is really a new Nigeria. A new Nigeria based on certain values, people who commit to values of personal integrity, of merit, and so on and so forth. And we'll put out a State of the Nation report. There's 14 cohorts. I was saying to some of the doctors here, I'll talk with them. Healthcare cohort has already done so much of what you're talking about in organizing. Cardiologists in Atlanta, Olatidoye, with Aicho, Amerua, and a number of them provide leadership for the healthcare cohort. Then we have infrastructure and all of those.
Thank you so much.
By the time we project a new view of the African in the world, it will change how the world sees us.
Thank you so much, Prof. I'm sorry that I have to interject because of time. Right now, I see the energetic audience. I would like to give the opportunity to ask questions. Please, straight to the question and around what is discussed because of time. So, raise your hands and I'm sure someone is going to come with you. So, if possible, I would want a lady to ask question first. I said it yesterday that I'm a feminine.
I'm a lady. I'm passing.
Feminist.
I'm passing my question over.
Okay.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
To express my own views. I've been listening to discussions, presentations since yesterday, and I'm really impressed about what is going on. And I discovered that most of our discussions and presentations are centered on products and not on process and not on utilization. We are talking on products all along. And we have not talked about processes involved in reaching or in achieving that our goal, and that goal will be the products and the utilization. These are the three major aspects that ADC will look at: the processes, the products, and the utilization.
Thank you so much, Prof. Sorry to interject. You know, it's
okay.
Question. Yeah.
Now let me go.
Thank you, Prof.
Let me ask the beloved. Yesterday, all the discussions about the housing was centered on metropolitan areas, neglecting the rural communities. My question is this: what do you people have for development of housing in rural communities? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question, Prof. If I had £1 for every time I've been asked this question in the last 48 hours, I'd have exactly £10. I was counting every time an individual asked me this question, but I'll start with the pretty much straightforward answer, and I'll break it down maybe in a minute or two. First and foremost, every business has an objective, has market spaces they operate in, have where they desire to gain and retain market share. So the way our organization and other ecosystems we've built around the organization is structured, our markets are in urban centers and semi-urban centers. Now, I mentioned during yesterday's panel discussion that I am personally driving a think tank group. that is looking at mass and even social housing, because if you look at the social strata across Nigeria, the middle class is gradually disappearing. Gradually, but gradually disappearing. So what it means is this: 5 years down the line, probably 60 or 70% of Nigerians will not be able to own a home the way it is going. One, the cost of production, inflation moving in GP succession, and you getting salary increments maybe one every 3 or 4 years. So that think tank group is looking at how to galvanize the value chain, because till today, most of our finishing materials for delivering our communities, so whether they are residential districts or mini districts or commercial property, 80% of our finishing materials coming through inbound supply chains if we are going to build to standards. So one of the things that think tank intends to do is to see how we could form a long-term partnership with the government, because land administration is still in the hands of the government, and it's the most important factor of production. And see how you can we can be able to build affordable houses. And for a certain group, I mentioned this yesterday, your cleaner, your driver, that can never own a home. Then we talk about social housing. How can there be a cross subsidy between us that can buy our houses and those people who can't own their homes? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doc. I see you speaking about this with a lot of emotions as well. We all want to make sure that our rural areas are developed. A business has to run still. I was saying,
I'm going to take two questions at the same time.
Hold on, please. I said, can we get a lady to ask a question? You see, we have been accused of not giving ladies opportunity, and I want to give that opportunity right now. Okay, if no one is ready, please go ahead and give out. Maybe someone will rise up at one point. No problem. Please, very brief.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I want to say thank you for the host of this organization. Just as a past said here, I've been here since yesterday. Likewise, I've been here since yesterday, listening to everything you guys have said so beautiful and all eloquently. Desirable. Okay, forum of leadership. I thought I was going to hear something about leadership. We're talking about building a new infrastructure in Nigeria, but we're not talking about the leaders who lead the country that will pave a way, a foundation for which everyone outside.
Can I? I've got the question.
I haven't asked you the question. So how can you get the question? I haven't even asked you the question.
I thought you said about leadership. Please go ahead. Apologies, please.
Thank you. So, a situation whereby the diaspora are willing to go home to invest, and the ground or the environment is not conducive. So how would they go home and invest when we know that the system does not favor the diaspora? We don't have a diaspora commissioner in any place, whether in government or in governor parastatal or in the federal parastatal. There is no diaspora representative. In such a team, the diaspora are willing to go home to invest, but the environment is not conducive for them. How do you create such environment for them to go home and invest?
Thank you, please. Please, I want to plead, ask your question straight. We don't have time for others to ask. I will give Chief Ainaibe opportunity to answer this question, please. Please be brief.
Thank you very much, and Prince, I think your concern I share very well, because every time I go to Nigeria, I'm always very apprehensive. Not because I am scared of the security challenges, because I am afraid of the unknown. So there are two different factors here. However, that said, in my earlier speech, I alluded to the fact that the policy-making system in Nigeria needs to be overhauled. The officials, the leaders. Like you rightly said, perhaps it would be a good thing for the policymakers, the leaders, to touch on how do we leverage and assess and tap into the skills, the resources of the diaspora, and then set up a commission to deal with that at a state level. That's done, then there is the possibility that all of these unfounded fear can be taken care of, because that commission could look into creating the positive narrative that we diasporans need and pump those information right out there. Otherwise, we have the situation where this negative narrative will continue. I know you were talking about, have not heard anything about leadership in the conference. Please, it was not intentional, because that is what the policy is all about, but you're still going to hear something about leadership, because that particular topic was earmarked for His Excellency Peter Obi, and I'm sure he will be speaking to us at some point today. Thank you.
We have a question here. We can...
Thank you so much. I think because of time, am I permitted, Abu Chair, time, because we are almost 1 hour late. I know we started 1 hour late, but...
Can we take 2 questions at a time?
Abu Chair? Oh, 3 more questions. We're free. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I'll keep it straight to the point.
Thank you, sir.
My question is to perhaps help us better understand what's actually happening, so that we don't get our diagnosis wrong. There are people here who have made comments about Diaspora is not represented in policymaking in Nigeria, or in that. That's not correct. We have, for the first time, a sports industry policy for Nigeria, which has changed sport and transformed it from the sort of leisure activity into a business sector. I was part of writing that policy 2 years ago. I'm from the diaspora. We have a diaspora commission. We have been involved in producing the national diaspora policy. Kachio Kezie was part of that. We also have the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Trust Fund, which is what addresses my brother Jonathan's initial comment about having, the policies. What do we do with remittances? I too was the secretary to the committee that drafted that. So I think we need to familiarize ourselves with what's actually going on before we take a position about what the problem is. But can I now put my question there? The big challenge, the elephant in the house is this. Those policies are there. I swear, because I was there, I wrote them. But what is happening to those policies? Government is governing aside of those policies. What do we do about that? Compliance enforcement, that's the issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Please, I think this was not a question. He actually gave valid data. Okay, I'm a member of Nigerian Diaspora, for instance. So just to say that this exists. Can you give to Dr. Baker, please? Okay. Okay, please, after you go to Dr. Baker.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, so sorry, I was supposed to make a quick presentation on this topic, but like the first doctor said, he mentioned something to do with fear factor when it comes to investment. And the way we perceive investment in Nigeria, when you talk about investment, it feels like it has to be real estate. Nobody seems to be talking about SMEs. And when talking about SMEs, for instance, in the UK, 5.51 million organization SMEs are SMEs, and they constitute 99.9% of private sector. But in Nigeria, just about the same time last year, 10 million SMEs were shut down because of hardship. Brief. Oh yeah, to wrap this up, when we look at the fear factor that he was talking about, I call it the trust factor. It is really difficult dealing with people in Nigeria when it comes to trust. So, like in the UK, we can adopt and adapt some things. Something like CRB checks, something like criminal record, DBS, and the rest.
Go to the question.
Okay, the question
I love
is...
your narrative, but time, please.
Now, the question is, when you're dealing with somebody in Nigeria, is it possible for us to have like an organization that takes care of pursuing anybody that commits a crime against you? Because there are some things that goes under the carpet. We use a kind of sentiment and emotion to cover it up. Maybe. So can we have like a structure, not like the police? We all know that when somebody does something to you, when that involves fraud?
You know, without wasting time, we have EFCC in Nigeria, maybe, and many others. So
no, EFCC.
I know we will say have our aspect, but like my brother mentioned, he said these policies are there, maybe implementation of how they work, another thing. But you're asking, do they exist? Yes, even if you create 10, 20, it will only consume our resources and be the same way. So let's pursue making it better. I hope that answers that, so that because of time I could have allowed someone else. Okay. And that answer was not from me, it was somebody that said that here. Dr. Baker.
Thank you. Here's the question. Can the diaspora in any way possible improve access to travel to and from Africa, particularly Nigeria? For example, I have here in my hands a document that took me 6 months to receive a visa to travel. To me, if you're going to invest in Africa, then the citizens, the diaspora, must be able to go see their investments.
Thank you. This question is captured outright. Prof, please, can you answer this question too? Thank you.
Yeah, it's so important. I think that, again, bureaucracy has a very funny mindset. People coming to your country are not going to come and take it away or anything. Should make coming and going so very easy for people. I don't understand why the things that happen. But yes, it's so important. At the level of the AU, within Africa, for example, they talk about the kinds of visas that would allow business people to come, go to any country, anytime, and those kinds of considerations will change things. I hope we'll get to that very quickly. Yes, very, very quickly. In the United States, my son is flying from Chicago to Washington next month just to try and renew his passport. I mean, it's a mess. It's a joke.
Okay. Yeah, incredible. There's a lot of work to do. We all agree. All right. At this point, I think we are. Oh, a lady. Oh, I would miss this. Doctor.
Hey, hello. Please, Prince asked a question here, which is very important. I'm the executive assistant to the governor of Delta State on Diaspora. And
can we give a round of applause? You see,
and also,
some people are hidden.
And also, I'm the country director for ADC.
I know
this. We had some issue that had to do with diaspora going to Nigeria for investment, and there was a little bit of a glitch. So what I did was to go to the governor, and I explained to him, and I met with the SSG, who now aligned me to all the commissioners, and they told me categorically clear that any investment from the diaspora, if you want to do health, for instance, go to the Commissioner of Health. If you want to do housing, go to the Commissioner of Housing. So now I have all the contact for all the commissioners on various departments. The same thing, if anyone here in the diaspora, the same, what we've already put in place in Delta State, I'm going to link up to all the diaspora executive assistant to the governor of each of the states. So whatever we have on ground here in Delta State right now, if you want to invest anything in Africa, and I'm part of the ADC, you come to the ADC, we will be able to link you up to the appropriate department that will help you execute it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Do we have time?
Please, just one lady and
yes,
we are done.
We actually have two ladies. One I didn't want to ask on camera.
Wow.
And then we be done after that, if that's okay.
Okay. Please be brief and we close.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. A lot have been said here in regards to security in Nigeria, security in Africa. I am going to ask, particularly regarding Nigeria, because that is the country of my knowledge. Now, what would ADC do for us when it comes to voting? You see, because security will start with how the system works in any country. And how will the system work? It will spill over to the leaders. So if diasporans are allowed to vote, obviously we will be able to have an input into how governance is handled in Nigeria, for instance. So I would like the diasporans, the ADC group, to please let us know how diasporans can be attended to when it comes to electing the right government. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This question goes to the ADC, and I think maybe I can go straight into that one, Chief, if you permit me, since I'm here. All right. Regarding what ADC can do, I would say ADC is a business organization. Our focus is on empowering Africans in diaspora and back home through what we can do in business. That's why this particular conference is focusing on this area. However, every one of us as diasporans have a role to play. I'm a member of NIDO, and I know that it's a push for diaspora voting going on. Even the bill has passed, I think, first reading in Nigeria. So just to give you an idea that this is being worked on by other organizations in diaspora, and some of us are also members. I hope I did justice to your question. All right.
Last question, thank you. Thank you for the speeches, and I just want to ask, what is the diaspora doing in eliminating the Japa syndrome by improving employment for the young people in Nigeria? Because that's the essence of the Japa syndrome. If you have a system that's working, there will be no need to get out of it. So how are we retaining our people back home by, doing an overhaul of the whole system to put them in employment and be able to sustain their income?
I will allow Prof to give an answer to that.
Just a quick one. It started this year. There is a doctor in Charlotte, North Carolina. He likes to give us credit for it, inspiring it. But he has now started a call center in Lagos, working for doctors in the United States of America. They're hiring nurses, training them. And when you call a doctor's office in the US, they've had 100 people already. They expect to have up to 1,000 people in Lagos by next year in this particular call center activity. We hope to have more and more of those kinds.
Thank you so much, Prof. Please, a round of applause. A round of applause. Before I give the mic to the last panelist to conclude because of time, I want to really re-echo what he said. While I was in Switzerland, I was a member of delegation of Swiss that went to China and India to really monitor how they are pulling their economy. And what we found out is that the diaspora, in fact, every organization the Swiss delegation visited in China and in India, we found out that diasporans were actually the engine behind most of the things you see happening in those countries. Because they go to their country of residence, convince the companies there, and say, we can. And this is where the narrative comes in. Please, if you are here, sorry that I'm taking this time. I just got caught into this question and the answer. Make sure even your kids. Sometimes we are too negative about our country. I was just having that conversation with my wife. Your child, in front of your child, you're talking about how Africa is bad, how everything is dirty, how this and that. And before you know it, your son becomes the managing director of the company next door. And then what does he do? Instead of work hard to bring investment back home, he just says, do what? That dirty country? I don't even want to go there myself, let alone take somebody there. I live here, but we understand that these things can be done by us. Thank you. I now give the mic to you to respond. For me, please. Thank you. I give mic to Chief to answer that your question. I saw that when I just told you EFCC, you are like, which EFCC?
Thank you very much, Honorable John. When I said that policies are not available, I stand resolute by that statement, because what becomes a public knowledge becomes an information that is available. If a policy is written in a beautiful crafted languages that the public, or let alone matters affecting diasporans, are not privileged to the diasporans, and it is in the office, then as far as I'm concerned, that department has not done a very good job. So I still stand by that statement when I says the policy has not been articulated to the population, therefore there are no policies. So please, respectfully, I will say those that have written those policies, I applaud you. Perhaps we need to go back to the drawing table and find out how those policies can be made available to public, so the public are able to take advantage of those policies.
Thank you so much. Peace. You see, I have time on 47 minutes. This has been engaging, but I'm someone that work with time. I'm incredible. So that we got this far. Thank you all so much. Dr. AJ, Dr. Sari, Professor Pat, Tommy. You see, because this is incredible. Almost 50 seconds, 50 minutes. And Dr. Iyoye and of course, Chief Ainabele, thank you so much for this wonderful session and all the answers that you gave. I feel loaded with a lot of information. And thanks to all of you for all the questions and patience. I really appreciate that you all were engaging. You wanted more, and I'm sorry we have to stop. Thank you so much. Now it's time for pictures, please, and all this. Let's take a picture, please. The panelists, oh, please.